Hi, everyone. We are now going to talk about stories, and we are going to teach you from the perspective that you have an Instagram account and a Facebook account. And we are going to show you how to start an Instagram with your stories so that it feeds also over to your Facebook. Two reasons we're doing this is by having two accounts, your range of audience is larger. And then two, Instagram gives you a few more options that Facebook doesn't when creating your stories. But as we go through this, many of the same mechanics apply when you're doing stories through Facebook as well. It's very, very similar. So you can use the training for both aspects. So to get in to start a story, in the upper left, it says your story with a blue bubble and a plus sign. I can click on that. Or the real easy way is I can simply put my finger on the left side of my phone screen and swipe to the right. And now I'm all set to start a story. So what we're going to do is in the lower left-hand corner with the square, I'm going to click on that square where you can see an image. Now, when I click on that, that goes right to my camera roll. And now it's going to bring up my most recent photos in my camera roll. Now, because I'm in the One Person Big Difference social shareable group, which is through Telegram, people are always sharing stories in there and things that they've created that you can share as well. So there was recently a story on collagen that was shared, and I saved that in my collagen folder on my phone. So I'm going to go up to recents in the left-hand corner with the little drop-down arrow. When I click on that, it brings up all my folders. I'm going to go to my collagen folder, open that up, and now here is the story that I saved. Now, if I was going to just put one of these photos out there, I'm going to simply click on the photo and it's ready to go. But instead, I'm going to go back and see in the upper right-hand corner, it says select, and there's two squares by it. I'm going to press select. Select allows me to click on all the stories that I want to use, all the images that I want to use at the same time. Got all of them. There's 10 of them. And you can see it's collecting all of them at the bottom. So now at the bottom, there's an arrow. That arrow is not going to post them for you, but it's going to give you your next step. So simply click the arrow in the lower right. And now it's got them ready to go. It's got them all ready to go. If I just simply click on the images at the bottom, it will show me each one. This allows me to edit the images if I want to do that. Now, with this first slide, I want to edit this, okay? Because it talks about a pregnancy and I did not just have a pregnancy. So I want to put some verbiage on top of this. So in order to do that, because it filled my screen perfectly. And sometimes you are going to take something that someone else has done, you're going to put it in your story, and it might show up like this. Really be mindful that you take that image and you minimize it. And you simply do it by taking two fingers, your pointer finger, your middle finger, just two fingers, one on opposite ends of the image. So I'm going to take it from the top, take it from the bottom, and squeeze it together. And I'm going to minimize it and place it down, okay? So now the top menu in your stories is where all the magic happens. Again, play around with this. Have fun with this. See what you can create. I'm going to go to the letters, the big A and the little a. I'm going to click on those, and I'm just going to write, love this story just shared by one of my business partners. Done. Okay. It's obviously not in the right place. So again, two fingers, squeeze it together and move it around. I'm just going to tilt it and then it's ready to go. Now I can add music to this as well. I'm not going to add the music now because it will overtake my voice. But if you want to add music, guess where you go? You go to the music note. Now, to go to music and add it, if you want to listen to the music before you add it, right? Make sure that it fits. And I highly suggest putting music to your stories because it just adds another element of feeling to it. That's why they have music playing when we go shopping in stores, right? It's a psychological thing. So in order to hear the song before you pick it, you simply click on the arrow with the circle to the right of it. I'll show you how that's done. I'm going to click on the little circle and you'll watch it'll play.
Here we go.
So fun. I would pick that one. And I just clicked on it again and it stopped. To choose the song to play on my story, I would actually click on the good to go. I would actually click on the song itself, and then it would automatically populate it into my story. And at the very top, I would click done, and then it would be ready to go. Okay. Now, the other thing that I could add if I wanted to, because this is such a great story, and she says this stuff is magic. The middle button, it's a square with a smiley face. So much goodness is in here. So if I click on that, it's going to allow me just kind of read through these. Many of these are self-explanatory right at the top. But if I scroll down, it's going to give me some caricatures or cartoons. But I can do search. So at this search, I'm going to put underline. So now it brings up different underline options, right? So I'm going to click just the one at the upper left. It shows up in the middle. All I have to do is put my finger on it and I can move it around right under this stuff is magic. And then I was able to put an underline on it. Okay. So now I'm going to go to the next picture, and this picture, it shows up pretty good, but I am worried that the words at the top might not show up for everyone as it goes from Instagram to Facebook. So I'm again going to squeeze it together and minimize it just a little. I'm going to go to the next one, squeeze it together a little. And now again, I'm going to add a cartoon to this. I'm going to go to the middle square with the smiley face. I'm going to search for wow. Look at all these fun things, right? Just keep scrolling and there's so many options. So I'll find one I love. I'll put it in here, razzle dazzle. Go to the next one. I don't really need to squeeze that one together because there's not any verbiage on it. So that one looks great. I'm going to go to this one. You know what I would suggest though, is putting some arrows by her eyes, because obviously it's showing just how much, or her skin, how much brighter her skin is. You can see there's arrows there, but they're pretty light. So I'll go to the square in the middle again and I'll type in arrow. So you can search anything, you guys. I'll find some arrows, and now they're pointing at her nose. All I have to do is take 2 fingers and I can turn this around. I can turn it around and there we go. I can point at her skin just like that. I can go to the next one. Looks great. Again, if I wanted to, I could underline some of the things in her story. Looks great. And we're all good. Now with this last one, says patent pending, combo with something special. Everything's great, good to go, right? Looks awesome. Now, all I need to do is this next arrow on the right it will say to your story, and I'll click share. And you can see it says and Facebook. It says and Facebook, and I'll click done. And now it's shared to my story. Now, if for some reason you posted something and you're like, I didn't want that to go, I didn't want it to save, you can simply go back to your story, and in the lower right-hand corner where the 3 dots are, you can click on that and you can select delete. Once I select delete, it will say from Instagram only or from both. And you can get it off Instagram and Facebook and you can start over. So you don't have to worry if it gets out there and you're not ready for it. Now you can see how it's showing up in my story. It's all set to go. If for some reason it's not playing right away, it just means it hasn't downloaded yet, and it will show you that in the lower left-hand corner that it hasn't downloaded yet. Okay, I'm going to show you one more piece of magic. I'm going to go to the Telegram group. That is a One Person Big Difference social media shareable group. Okay, make sure that you're in here because so much great stuff is shared. And there was just recently a video that was shared by someone. I'm going to go back here. This was shared by Jen Dykstra. This is a video, okay? So I'm going to, in the lower left-hand corner where the arrow is, I'm going to save this to my camera roll. Now I'm going to go back to Instagram, swipe from the left to the right, go to the lower left, and if I go back, if I go up to the top where collagen is with the drop-down arrow, I go to recent because I just saved it. There is the video. I click on that and it's good to go. And then in the lower left, you see it says your stories. It's got my picture. And then the blue circle with the F does mean that will also go to Facebook. Okay. One last thing. I love to watch trainings. And when I watch trainings done by doctors, or if someone has shared a video of a testimony, it's great to share those, right? So what I love to do is you can take that video, you can put it in your story, okay? And you can, at the bottom of this, Instagram will give you a minute to share a story, okay? So if this was, let's say with Joanne's testimony here, there was some of it where she's welcoming everybody and it's just not needed for me to share. At the very bottom, I can click and I can move. See how I'm moving it back and forth? I can edit the video. But in this case, I want to share the whole thing. So what I'm going to do is select done. Now, when people are looking through stories, they may be in a place where they can't listen to it. So when you're sharing something that's a video, make sure that you also add captions, okay? So here's two things. If you share a video and there's already like verbiage on it, you don't want people to hear anything, or you're sharing a video of you outside and you just want people to see it, but you don't want them to hear the background, you can mute that by going to the top where it has the megaphone and the little lines. It's next to the arrow at the top. If I click that, see how a line went through it? That's going to mute the video. And now no one's going to hear the audio with it. So if I unclick it, now they're going to hear the audio. But if I want to have captions with what Joanne is saying so people can also read it, I'm going to go to the square with the smiley face. And at the top, under location, it has captions. I want to put captions in. And now I get to wait a little bit while it transcribes what Joanne is saying. Now that smiley face with the square, that's also where you can add a poll to your story. You could ask people if they're interested in hearing more. So now I've got the captions ready to go. And at the bottom, you can see there's a menu. And if I click on each one, it will change how the captions show up. So the captions are in, I can move them around. If I click on the captions again, if I click on the words, I can edit them by going to the top and I can make the letters a different color. I'm going to go back to white. I can also, if I click the square next to the letter, that's what it does. It puts a square around the letters. Just if you don't want it there, just keep clicking until it goes away again. So my captions are in, I click done, and now I can add it to my stories when I want it to go. That's how you'll add a video to your stories that's already pre-recorded. So that is your stories, you guys. I hope this brought you, helped you a lot to be busy in your stories, to put information out there. And the best piece of advice I can give is play around with them. But until you get comfortable, just do not be afraid to use the stories that someone else has already put out there. One last piece of advice I'll give you. If there are people you're following on LifeVantage and they share a story that you're like, I sure wish I could use that same thing, here's how you do it. I'm going to click on Wife of Gesture. She's in LifeVantage. I know she won't mind me doing this. Let's say I want to use her story, okay? All I have to do is take a screenshot, okay? Every phone might be a little different by taking a screenshot. So now I have the screenshot. Once I take the screenshot, I'm going to click on it right away so that I can edit it. And all I need to do is go below Jen's info and come up from the bottom. And now it looks like my image. Okay. And this is what you'll see when people share LifeVantage information. You can do this. Everybody's out there to share their information, right? So I'll click done. And now I have it saved to my photo. So when I get out of Jen's, when I go to my own story, Jen's will be in there under my recents. And there it's ready to go. And I can squeeze it, make it a little smaller, and it fits my screen better. So I hope this has been advantageous for you to get busy in your own stories, do your own thing, share what you love, share what others have created, and get the word out that you are now a business owner with LifeVantage.